The meta right now is pretty good. Not gonna lie, I like how it is right now. We have a few teams competing for I think this is the best, and that's pretty good. That is how metas should be. We haven't had something like this, honestly, since Ascanor. I think Ascanor was the first character last year that dropped, and we're like, okay, it's Ascanor only now. And then Purgatory Melee came out, and it was like, okay, it's demons only now. And it was demons only for a long time. But even though we just got a major addition to the game, super strong character tier, Sins are still the most used team and still at the top of Ungeared. And I'll explain why. So this is my Sin team right here. As you might notice, 255,000 CC. If you go at the leaderboards for Geared, so top 100 on Geared, you will see that the most like up tier teams are going to be tier teams. I don't know if that's actually the teams guys using, but tier teams are the top teams. You can see, boom, the top three, and you can keep going. There will be some demons. There will be some. Let me see if I can find one. Teams that will swap up tier for Purgatory Melee. Some teams with Sins as well, but generally speaking, tier is dominating on top 100 on Geared. But if you go to Ungeared, and I won't be scrolling too much because I don't have to, because I know what's in here, I checked. Almost everybody's using Sins, and then you have the occasional tiers as well, using the unknown team with Gillane. Yeah, right here. Why is that? Very simple. This team right here, for example, it cannot compete in CC with the Sin team. You have low CC character, low CC character, low CC character, low CC character. While the Sin team has the highest CC character, top 7 and top 6. Then Zeldris is also top 10, I think, or at least he's up there, right? And then if you compare to the Demon team as well, like most Demon teams are honestly better off using Purgatory Melee for the most part. You can use Lost Vein as well, but if you're using Purgatory Melee, he has lower CC than Lost Vein. I guess if you're using the Sin team with Purgatory Melee, that also runs into the same issue, but still. But with Demons, you have Astarosa, which is not even top 10 anymore in the CC box, like in the CC charts here. Blue Zeldris is pretty high. But then you have Kusok, which, bro, Kusok is such low CC, he needs a relic. And you can see the picture. Going first in Ungeared is better than going first in Geared, for the most part. And there's no one using Scotty teams in Ungeared, so Sin team is still dominating over here. There will always be an inherent advantage for going first in this game. It's obvious, right? If you play the game for 3 seconds, you know that. But when it comes to... I was like, is this a real player? When it comes to Ungeared versus Geared, especially the top 100, you will not go first. It's not it's not a question, it's a promise. You will not go first. You're going to be facing AI with CC food and you don't have food. So you're going to go second. And if you're going to go second, you best be prepared to go second. And the Sin team runs into issues if going second. The Sin team is not the best if you're going to go second. It just simply isn't. You need to go first to set up the DN. You set up the DN taunt and boom, the team is marvelous, right? But if you don't set up the DN, you run into issues. Set up the DN, set up the bond, stuff like that. So that is like the biggest reasoning why you end up seeing more of these Scotty teams, stuff like that. You still see Scotty teams in Ungeared. I see them here and there. Not really all that much. Not nearly as much as in Geared. Even outside of top 100, you see much more of those Scotty teams because you can gear however you want, right? So for example, an ungeared Scotty will not be as tanky as an HP defense Scotty, or worse, Melascula. Melascula needs crit defense gear. Like, she needs that shit. You plop in crit defense gear for Melascula and she's infinitely tankier, right? So all of these like circumstances leads to Sin's having a much better upper hand on going first, being able to take out characters because they're not as tanky as in geared. And yeah. Especially if, you know, if you're trying to go first with the Sin team, ideally you'd be using HP defense on all of your characters, and Ban, upon first being buffed, was okay with that. Not really, but you could be okay with it. Now, I don't know, man. Like, if you use HP defense on Ban, you can tell he just isn't doing the one-shots he needs to do. He needs to. So in ungeared, you don't have any choice. The characters are how they are, right? So it ends up being much better for him. Much, much better. So Sins are arguably still on top for ungeared specifically. And that's good. You know, having one team that's dominating everything, like, I made a video on the Scotty team, which is so good, right? But if that team was dominating everything, then that team wouldn't dominate anything. Because it's a bit of an interesting thing where the Scotty team can only dominate if the Ban team is super prevalent. If the Ban team is not super prevalent, the Scotty team won't be as impressive, or I guess as effective, if you're not having those like big time debuffs on your characters. So it's a bit of an interesting ecosystem we have right here. And the Gil Lane teams are interesting. I honestly am very shocked so many top players are choosing to use Gil Lane. In a way I can see why. It is an interesting team, but every time I face one, I just absolutely demolish it. So I am a little bit confused on that one. I'm not gonna lie, I am a little bit confused on why. I've tried out the team, so I know the team is good. It's just I think there are better tier teams out there. Oh, can I kill? Okay. It's kind of close because I was being heavily lowered, right? So it was kind of close. Plus Arthur, you know, we had all three of our characters being debuffed. Arthur, his passive, the part that gives crit defense, I think only works when he's on the field. I need to double check that. Like the HP works in the back, but I think the crit defense part only works if he's in the field. So, you know, Ba was getting a bunch of crit defense as well. Yeah, you know, the Ragnarok team just ain't it for CC either. I was gonna make the point before I even saw who we were matching, and look at that. The Ragnarok team also just ain't it for that. It's unfortunate, but it's true, right? So, CC wise, they just aren't competing because these characters aren't festivals. If you take a look at the top characters, majority of them are festivals. The only character that somehow, for some reason, is an exception to the rule is Freya. I mean, Freya is very recent. The fact that she got a relic is like one of the reasons why, but like, still very weird that she has such high CC. Like, Freya is the only exception to the rule, and she's not even good for PvP. Like, she really isn't. It's like the one exception isn't even like PvP viable or anything. Let's do this. Just gonna make sure they die here. Freya is much scarier than I was hoping that would kill the tier. Freya is much scarier than Brynhilde. Didn't die though. Because you see, okay, so I'm not gonna list all the characters, but the only non-festival that peaks top 10 CC characters, right? So there's Freya, there's Zeldris, which again, another character that is very recent but got a holy relic. Then we actually have Rudius, which unfortunately also isn't very good. Like, he has very high CC, but he isn't very good. And then we have Mono, Blue Mono, the most recent one, which also, unfortunately, isn't very good, right? Like, these characters have high CC, but they're not very good. So that doesn't really help. Roxy, the unknown, right, from the collab, actually does have pretty good CC. But she's okay. I wouldn't say she's bad, actually. I wouldn't say she's bad. She's okay. Then that's top. That's already. Roxy isn't even in the top 10, actually. I just kept going down on the list. Like, tier is pretty behind. He's like under Festival King and stuff like that, so the festivals just get I want to say better treatment when it comes to CC, right? And that's understandable, honestly. They are festival units, right? They should be better. Festival units are more expensive. They cost 900 gems. Like, you can say, you know, oh, but you have a chance to pull before the guarantee. No, the chance is not very high, is it? They're more expensive in odds and pity. While regular characters, even collab characters, right, cost 600 to pity. Festival characters cost 900 to pity. And they have the garbage rates, right? So it makes sense. They should be better. They should be. They should be higher CC, but, you know, it is the unfortunate truth that, you know, having teams that don't have all these festival characters results in that. It is crazy though. Like, Freya at one point had the second highest CC in the game, so she was right behind the Escanor, right, the one ultimate, which is kind of crazy, right? Like, second highest CC in the game. Let's do this. Second highest in the game, but now she's fourth because Lost Vein is number 1. Then the 1 is number 2. Number 3 is Light Liz. Post Relic, Light Liz. Unfortunately, the character still isn't very good, but you know, she's trying. She's trying. And then Freya. Freya has more CC than Purgatory Melee. But to be fair, Freya has a relic, and Purgatory Melee will also get a relic in maybe like 7 years. So, I mean, I don't know actually. You know, you never know. You never know with that marble. they might pull some shit from nowhere. Weren't you guys excited for a Purgatory Melee Holy Relic only 3 weeks after his release? You never know with them. I'm just gonna attack. Oh! Because Twigo was still red, I thought I was still attacking Twigo. Like, why was Twigo still the one that's red? That makes no sense. Or was I targeting Twigo? I need to go back on the footage. Doesn't matter. This is actually a team that does win against Sins, depending on your card RNG. Like, if you have really bad card RNG, you're gonna lose to this team. Because the ult rushing is really difficult to compete. That's why, right now you don't see as much of this. The Twigo Arthur Bond. But a lot of people are running it, because it's very hard to counter if you are on the Sin team. Lost Vein can't deal with it very well. Purgatory Melee has a better time because he's good at breaking the stance, but hard to deal with, and the ult rush is, you know, it's a guaranteed win. You get the ult with Bond, everyone's bye-bye. So I think we're in an interesting situation when it comes down also to the CC numbers have gone up so high exponentially. So high that people are slowly but surely coming up with different teams that don't need to go first and prefer going second, like that Twigo Arthur Bond team. That team's meant to go second, right? The tier team with Scotty and Melascula, or if you want to use Purgatory Melee over tier as well, is meant to go second. Like, these teams thrive on going second, which doesn't happen often in metas, right? Because going first, there is an inherent, like, advantage to it, right? But we've had to get creative because right now these Sin teams are really hard to deal with, right? Okay. Let's break this shield. Really hard to deal with. Hope she doesn't have a stun. Maybe I should have combined the cards and kept Chu. Should remove ult gauge again. She has a stun, of course she does. They always do. They always have a stun. Okay. Are you with my all? No? Okay. Huh. How about... What are the odds? What are the odds Bond can kill here? With his level 2 Pierce card. Crit! Nice. Goddesses just can't, bro. I'll be honest. Oh, I mean, that's issue number 1. Should be using either Tristan or Nanashi. Preferably Nanashi. That's issue number 1 for this guy. Goddesses just can't, man. They are a team that just got eradicated from the face of the game. Just no units. No units came out for the team since launch. Like, how is that even, like... How is that even possible? It's not like we don't like the goddess characters. I mean, to be fair, being reasonable, right? Demon characters are way cooler than goddess characters, right? We need to be honest about this. Oh, there's no way. Okay. You're shitting me. He hit the end so little, she had no stacks. Still winning. Mael... Yeah, he just can't. The moment the goddesses are dead... Let's see this big damage from Mael. Come on. I'm waiting. Go on. He knows, like, it's crazy that, like, he did an ult that killed my whole team, but he knows he still lost. Because he is so reliant on those other characters. Like, if he doesn't have 3 goddesses in the field, this is the damage he does. With a level 2 card. It's crazy. It's crazy. Alright, I'm probably not gonna kill the level 3 cleave either, but... Never mind. Crazy, right? Maybe this is the biggest issue with Mael. His huge dependency. Because it's more even like... When you have a character like Purgatory Melly, right? He really wanted to be in the Demon Team. Because the Demon Team gave him so much. But he didn't need to be in the Demon Team. He wanted to. He didn't need to. I think there's a difference. Mael got trapped into the I need to be surrounded by goddesses. Be like that. Ooh, speaking of Roxy. Okay. Lost Veins targeted. How about do this? It will break the shield on both of the other ones. But, oh, it's still broken on her, okay. Interesting. Maybe Bond is in a similar situation as Mael, but not the same. Where Bond has other stuff he can do, right? Like he can be in a human, Sin, or Fairy, I guess, team. I just really wish they would release more human characters. And I mean, like, okay, they release Rudy and they release Roxy, but those characters don't, like, buff basic stats and stuff like that, right? They're not like Nanashi or, like, Ram. Humans need characters like that. They are just buffing their attack as well. Like, we can get green as many Excalibur Arthurs as we want. they only buff HP. So, like, HP is cool and all, but HP ain't making me hit harder unless I'm Purgatory Bond, which guess what? Purgatory Bond's not a relevant character anymore, right? So for Bond to be, you know, out of the sin trap, I think he would need that. Not that he needs to, especially right now. But that is definitely something to consider for the future. If Bond is to be like a longer lasting unit, because he is the anniversary festival, right? Even though he was garbage at launch and he needed to be buffed, he's still the anniversary festival. Nothing can take that away from him. So, you know, I would prefer anniversary festivals should be long lasting, unlike Light Liz and stuff. Oh, but Light Liz was relevant on Guild Boss. Shut up. Listen, according to the poll they did, okay? I'll bring math into this. And we all know math is not real. 97% of players or something don't care about Guild Boss. Alright, so let's not pretend. Let's not pretend that it matters, okay? Let's not pretend. Is it 97? Something like that. 97 or 98%. Or maybe even 99% of players just don't care about Guild Boss. Guild Boss is funny because I think that if they up the rewards, more people would care about it. But like the real rewards are only for the real top players, right? And like if you're free to play, you can actually you can be like a top player. It's just very unlikely. But it takes so long. Like the thing is that not just because something is doable as a free-to-play player means that it's worth for the time spent. Like sure, you could, right? You could beat the snake boss without Freya or without Tyr or without like what's his face? Freyr's Holy Relic as a free-to-play player. But is it really worth it to spend like hours and hours and hours when you could be like, I don't know, studying for your next test or something? Like, that's what I think at least, right? Like, this is why I, for so long, was like, I don't want to do this boss, because I'm like, why would I spend hours and hours and hours when I could just like do something else that is actually fun, right? I don't know. Either way. Like, playing PvP, I love PvP!